were saying, so you had all these, you already established with these relationships.
Yeah.
So when you left, you're like, I'll be able to tap back in anytime I want.
Yeah, I mean, we actually thought about moving to Las Vegas, but one of the, I guess, driving principles for moving back to Chicago was we're both from there. And so we both wanted to be back closer to our families. My parents are getting up there in age, have had a few surgeries. My mom had a little stroke, but she's fine.
I love how you said little stroke like it was cute. Oh,
Like a little cute
She
stroke.
had like a little stroke. She stroked a bit.
Yeah, a little speech impairment. She's good.
Yeah, she's fine.
But no, for me, it's I was pretty well established, in the clubs that I've been working.
Yeah.
And I wasn't really worried. There was one club where it was like, hey, can you be here tomorrow? And I'm like, oh, I don't live in L.A. anymore. I could, it was like in Tucson, Arizona. They're like, oh, okay. And airfare was like almost $1,000. So, but no, it didn't really bother me. Plus, I started stand-up in Chicago. And so I knew that, I have all the clubs there now that they were kind of excited for me to be back.
By the way, before we keep going, I should introduce the tea real fast.
Please.
So, for those that are sleeping with us at home, we are drinking, this is a fun name, Campfires and Vampires.
Ooh.
I know.
Okay.
It's Essentia green tea. It is fantastic. It steeps at 180 for 3 minutes.
That's amazing.
I was going to say, what is that face? Is it good or bad?
Yeah, it's a great face. Yeah. Yeah.
I love this face. It's a great face.
It's a great. This is a tea happy face.
Do you drink tea?
I don't as
Okay.
I drink a lot of iced tea.
Okay, I think
I'm
that
a
counts.
huge iced tea guy.
When we say iced tea, are we talking like Lipton in Arizona, or are we talking like you make proper tea and you like
So I buy, the brand, and then I use the bottle to make more iced tea.
What? So are you taking tea bags and putting them in the bottle?
Yes.
Well, you are.
Yeah.
That counts to me.
Yeah.
That's a tea drinker.
Yeah. I'm a tea drinker.
Do you have a coffee drinker?
Here's the thing. I'm not a regular coffee drinker, but my wife is.
Yeah.
And she's always like, you want a cup of coffee? I'm like, yeah, I'll have a cup of coffee.
Let me tell you, my fiance transformed me. I never used to drink coffee unless I desperately needed it.
Yeah.
She would always be like, hey, I'm going to make coffee. We ended up getting an espresso. She would always get the Nespresso. I'm like, yeah, I guess just make me a cup. By October of last year, and I've since been trimming back, by October of last year, I was drinking 3 espresso shots a day.
Okay, you have a problem.
Yeah, no. So I pulled back. So I don't do that now. I was concerned. Here's what's upsetting. No one around me was concerned for me. I was concerned for me.
Ironically, because I'm sober. I'm one of those guys. But I have a very addictive personality.
Sure.
And I could do away with coffee. I did not develop an addiction for coffee.
Okay.
My wife, instant headaches if she hasn't had a cup of coffee for 2 days. But
instant.
Yeah, she'll have headache. She's like, "Why do I have a headache?" I'm like, "Are we out of coffee?" She's like, "We are out of coffee."
Yeah.
But for me, I get addicted to everything, and
Sure.
that was just the one thing I just could not. That and gambling, I could not care less.
So that is shocking. As someone with an addictive personality, you were just like gambling. Eh.
Yeah.
Do you gamble at all?
I love playing poker. As
Okay.
you mentioned, I'm in Vegas quite a bit.
Yeah.
I love playing poker. It's the only game I play.
I think I knew you played poker.
Yeah, and once I lose the money I sat down with, that's it. I'm not that guy that's like going back or like taking money out of the ATM or anything like that. But
I do think it's weird that of all people, you sit down with $30,000 every time you play.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's why I never have to go back.
Right. I was like that because that struck me as weird.
I tap out every time.
Yeah, you're like, listen, I could have bought a house, but I wanted to just play 7-2 offsuit and just see,
just to feel something for once.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That
is my problem with poker. That is why I don't play regularly. Is if I'm on a run of an hour where I have not gotten cards, I will play a dog shit.
That's
hand
how they get you.
Just to
absolutely.
Go. I can't trust myself. The other problem that I had in Vegas, and I only did make this mistake once, and I haven't made it since.
Yeah.
My buddy, shout out Andrew Averin. My buddy was like, we got there, and he goes, "You ever play craps?"
Oh yeah.
And I said, I haven't. And he goes, "You understand the basic tenets?" And I was like, "The basic tenets, sure." I said, you don't want a 7 or 11. You could bet the pass line. I mean, that's about where I go. And he was like, "We should play." And I was like, "Okay." And he fooled me. And he goes, "Listen, here's what you do. take out enough money so you feel like you got something, but you
Right.
don't bet it all. I was
A little
like,
scary.
how much is a
Scares
lot?
you a little bit.
He goes, yeah, like, here's the thing. We're only going to be gambling one day. Take out like $600. And I was like,
Okay.
I said, I don't have the kind of throwaway money that $600 indicates to you.
Right.
And he was like, no, we don't spend it.
Right.
Just have it on you so you feel good. I was like, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, all right, I want to know what it feels like to have that money in my pocket. You know, when I have $60, I'm like,
Yeah.
hefty. Go there, and I'm not exaggerating. Conservatively, 9 minutes after that, I was down $500.
Of course.
They don't
Absolutely.
No one warns you that they're like, you can win so big. You can also lose so big.
Oh, I immediately.
Yeah.
I recently played blackjack, which I never do.
No, I don't do
But
that
a
either.
friend of mine, we had dinner, and she was like, "Do you want to play blackjack?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course."
Yeah.
$200 gone within 5 minutes. I mean, it was just like because neither one of us knew how to play blackjack.
I don't fully know either.
And the dealer was very nice. He was like, yeah, people don't usually hit on that. She's like, I'm going to. And I'm like, I don't think that's a good idea. And then, of course, it screws up the whole, that was my card and you shouldn't have hit and all that. You know what I mean? And it just was like, well, that's money that's never coming back ever.
Here's what I understand of blackjack. Hit on 16, stay at 17.
Yeah.
You split at some point, don't know when.
Right.
And you double if you're feeling like you got something good going.
It's about consistency.
Okay.
Right? But, and again, I know nothing about, but here's where I get screwed up is when you do the split and then you only get one card after that.
So,
let's say you
I
split
didn't even know
eights.
that. I didn't know that.
And then all of a sudden you only get the one card. And I'm like, oh, hit me. He's like, oh no, you only get one card. And I was like, I didn't know about that.
I didn't know about that until this moment.
So I lost like $80 in one hand because I had split and then split again. And then you only get like, and if I had won it all, I would have won like $600 or some weird number.
Yeah, it's always
but
like
I lost all of them.
It's weird parlaying. It's like, well, if you hit this, then you get that and you get that. Yeah, then you get $1 million. But if someone so much as sneezes 5 blocks away, you lose everything.
That's what cracks me up about like how common gambling is now with all the apps and everything.
I
It's
don't do
like I don't do it either because I have an addictive personality, and I know
I'm just
like
dumb.
Yeah,
I don't-
that too.
Yeah.
You combine those two things, and you're like, that's a recipe for disaster.
I can't do it. And the other interesting thing is like I'm sure you've been in this situation too, where like if you're on a showcase style show where there's a bunch of comics, sometimes people like kick something off in the back in the green room. Kick something off, something fun.
Yeah.
I was once in a green room where they were gambling on. They would shuffle the deck and just draw a card for each person. Highest card got the money.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I'm good. And they were like, why? You too chicken? I was like, yes.
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 Yeah. I love how
am.
peer pressure enters the green room.
Yeah. I was like, yes, I am. I said, let me tell you something. I'm probably getting paid the least on this show
Right.
of all of you.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to give you the little that I get.
Hanging out with rich people is awful.
Do you do it a lot?
Well, I did a corporate a while ago in
Love a
Jamaica.
corporate. What?
And they flew me out there, and it was one of those, it was like Christmas week, and I said, well, I'm going to ask for so much money that they're going to say no.
Been
and
there.
then they're like, yeah, of course we'll pay that. I was like, okay. And so I'm in, and now I know this sounds terrible. I'm in Jamaica in Christmas week.
I mean, I'm miserable
making
for
like,
you, yeah.
thank you so much. And I'm making a ton of money. I'm making the kind of money where I'm like, I feel bad.
I'm stealing.
And then I hung out with the CEO of this hedge fund, and he is literally betting like $20,000 on the craps table per like roll. I know that terminology doesn't make sense, but like he literally had $20,000 on the table at any given time. He's winning 12, he's losing 14, he's winning 10, he's losing 8. I mean, it was just like, and I'm like, okay, I don't feel bad anymore. Like this guy clearly has it. We're good to go.
I did not get as good of a situation as you did, but during COVID, I tried to avoid Zoom shows. I did not like them. I tried them. It wasn't really for me, which, maybe that's my own fault, but it wasn't really for me. Then I got contacted. I won't name the company. I got contacted by a big tech company, and they were like, hey, we saw your reels or some bullshit, and we would love to have you do a show for us over Zoom. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, fuck no. I don't have any interest in this. And so the advice I got from a fellow comic was choose a number so outrageous that they won't say yes and you don't have to feel bad.
Right.
I said, how long's the set? They said 10 minutes. I said, 10 minutes? They were like, I mean, you could go 8 to 10. I said, 8 to 10. I said, all right. It'll be $1,200. And they were like, great.
I know.
And I was like,
it's the best.
and then my immediate thought, like a fucking unhealthy lunatic, I go, I wonder how much more I should have asked for.
Right. Of course.
Should I have said 5?
Yeah.
I'm like,
Right.
5,000 for 8
They have no idea.
I
They're
didn't know.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I feel like I made a crucial error there.
Right.
If they say yes on your first number,
Right.
you've undershot.
Absolutely.
But I literally said that, and then my buddy was like, that's good, right? I'm like, no, because now I'm just going to be thinking every night of what should I have said. The show was fine. I
Right.
gave him 15.
Oh, wow.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm honestly, I'm charitable.
Yeah.
But I literally was just like, how the fuck did this, where did I go wrong? I didn't get flown to Jamaica, though.
Yeah. The one that was weird was, and they paid a lot, was they shut off everyone's camera and muted them.
No.
So I'm literally just talking into a microphone, and
No.
then I'm like seeing in the chat, like, that's funny, ha ha, LOL, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh my God. I was like just staring at the clock the whole time as I'm just reciting my act. I mean, it was the weirdest show I've ever done.
I remember, and this is like not as bad as what you described, but I remember once I was very briefly dating a girl.
Good for you.
I know. That's the whole story.
Yeah.
Can I tell you something?
All right, let's shout out to our sponsors.
yeah. Wrap it up. We're down. Every time someone wants to date me, I think to myself, I'm like, haha, nailed it.
Right. Yeah.
I am never like, I deserve, this is the right choice for them. I just think, I hoodwinked a girl.
I spent the first 6 months with my wife convincing her not to be with me.
Yeah. Oh,
like, this is a terrible idea. I am not good at this.
Our self-esteem is all in the place where we're like, you sure?
Yeah.
Me and my fiance accidentally moved in together. Accident.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the start of the pandemic. They said it was going to be a quarantine for 2 weeks, and we were dating long distance.
Okay.
And she was like, well, you know what? Why don't I just like come spend the 2 weeks with you? You know, and 4 years.
She never left. Take my wife.
Yeah, it reminds me like those road comics were always like, actually, I'm really proud of myself. I lost 130 pounds. Right, yeah. I got a divorce.
Yeah.
I'm like, I will end you.
Yeah.
But literally, when we had moved in, I was like, once it was clear that the pandemic was raging onward, I was like, are you sure you want to live with me? Like, is this a great fit for you?
Right.
This is fine.
Yeah.
I am not someone who's so territorial about my space. I don't know if I'd want to live with me. I am constantly cracking inappropriate jokes all day and all night. Are you sure you've signed up for this? And she's like, why are you actively trying to end our relationship? I was like, I'm not. I want to make sure you have as many outs as possible.
Transparency.
Yeah.
I want you to, there are 19 exit signs going here.
Right. I want you to
one.
have it. You have so many exits, so that way if you do continue on the highway, it's your fault.
My wife, it's a similar story. My wife and I were long distance for 2 years. She lives in Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously I lived here in LA. And for me personally, I love long distance relationships because not only because of our schedule and the amount of travel that we do, but because it made me slow down in the old, like, I'm the guy who was like, it'd be our first date. We would order appetizers and like, so like, where are we going? Like, where is, like, just jump in, full love addict.
Where do you
like,
see this?
just, like, I mean, you know, the entree's not even there yet. She's like, what do you do for work? I'm like, let's get into the real stuff.
Yeah. How do we split the rent? Should we both be on the lease?
I just merged our checking accounts. But no, it allowed me to slow down, like have like tons of conversations.
Yeah.
We literally like built what our relationship was going to be and what it was going to look like.
I love it.
You know what I mean? Like,
how did you actually meet then? If you were long distance.
So I met my wife the day I got divorced from my first wife.
I don't even believe that.
It's 100% true. Yeah.
Okay, how?
We have a rom-com meeting. So
yeah.
I got divorced at a court, as you do.
I was just saying, I think that's pretty standard.
I fist bumped my ex.
Y'all were like, it was a kind of a buddy-buddy situation.
No.
Okay, no. Let me rephrase that. That was a bad take. Yeah. We're still civil. We're not angry at each other.
We never talked to each other really ever again.
I don't know that you need to.
Right. You know, there were no kids involved, you know.
No.
So we got divorced. I went and I did a lot of weird shit, as you do as a divorced man.
Sure.
I went and bought like $100 pair of jeans because I had never done that. And damn it, new year, new me.
Good jeans?
Great jeans. They look great. And then
if they're not a sponsor, so whoever's listening, we're not going to say the name. Yeah, forget it.
But if you're interested,
yeah.
They were from Morocco.
Ken
Shout out
Garr
Morocco.
was taken. Yeah. Yes.
Moroccan jeans.
Anyone listening from Morocco, they were Moroccan jeans. Message.
Best in the world. And then I went to a comedy club that night. I was a big drinker back then.
Sure.
I gave the bartender my keys. I said, "Don't give me the keys back. I'm gonna drink. I just got divorced today."
Yeah.
Went on stage, emotional, raw,
Yep.
stream of conscious. Like I just got divorced, and she walked up to me. The way I describe
I'm
it
sorry,
is
she was at the club.
she was at the club.
Dear God.
First of all, let me back up. My wife hates stand-up. Doesn't like it. Not a fan. We still to this day don't know why she was there that night. A friend of her was an open micer and had convinced her to go. And so she went.
Okay.
It was like when Roger Rabbit saw Jessica Rabbit for the first time. Like, it was like, who is that? She approached me after the show. She's like, "Did you really get divorced today?" I go, "Yeah." She's like, that was so real. That was so raw. And I'm like, "Thanks." And I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna headline this club in a couple weeks. Come back." And then my brother, who happened to be with me that night, was just like, "Dude, you can't wait 2 weeks. She's not coming back." And I'm like, "All right." Now, I had never done this. We talk about the self-esteem and the see. People think like comedians are like the most confident, cocky people in the world, and some are.
Not this
some
one.
are just like sitting on a couch drinking tea. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Nailed it. Yeah. This helps me not socialize.
Right,
Yeah.
This is the most social I'll be all month.
Yeah, no.
And so I put my number on a napkin and I walked up to her and I said to her, "I don't want to wait 2 weeks to see you. Call me tomorrow." And her mouth dropped open, and she did call me the next day, and we went on a couple of dates. But as everyone who knows is listening, divorced guys need to like go on an island by themselves for a couple of years with like a coloring book. Like,
I know
we need to
Divorced
be
Guy
on our,
Island.
you know what I mean?
I've heard
Need
about it.
Be on our own. So we just weren't ready. We became friends. We had a great friendship for 6 years. She got married. I went to her wedding. Her marriage didn't last long at all.
Good.
And then she slid into my DMs one day, and I was like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "Well, my marriage is ending." And then we got together one Christmas with the full intention of just sleeping together. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna bang it out.
Sure.
Like and then we were just immediately. I don't think we've been apart since.
I mean, that story is so unlikely.
Crazy, isn't it?
Here's the thing. The craziest part of that story to me is where you essentially summed up the courage of 1,000 men.
Yeah.
And were like, "Call me tomorrow."
But the only reason I did that was because I got divorced that day.
And you were just like, "I have nothing to lose."
I had nothing to lose. Like when you get married, it's like, "You're my best friend." And then 2 years later, it's like, "I don't want to see you ever again."
Yeah.
And so at that point, you're like, if your best friend is willing to like walk away, then what do I care what this girl thinks? And what's funny is like the first night we went out, I was like, "I've never done that in my life." I like totally called myself out.
No.
She's like, "Bro, what are you doing?" She's like, "That was the thing that got me." And now I know exactly.
When I asked Jess, Jess and I ran into each other at a bar, which, by the way, I don't pick up women at bars. That's not my thing.
Oh yeah, no.
But either way, when we ended up talking at the very end of the night, I said, "Can I get your number?"
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, "Here, I'll give you my Instagram."
Oh.
Right. So I said to her, "You know what? If you want to give me your number, I'd love to take that. If you would rather just give me your Instagram, maybe we just say it was nice meeting each other and kind of
Good for you." Yeah.
Why? I would never say that.
Right.
I don't have that. But
Yeah.
I had it, and I said it, and let me tell you something. Barely buzzed.
Right.
If that.
Right.
And she takes my phone. Now she is, by the way, really riding a high of vodka Red Bulls and egg rolls. She was just eating.
Okay.
Yeah. She was.
I don't know if that's a high, but okay.
Yeah, she was eating egg roll. She was eating an egg roll on the dance floor when I saw her. She's the only girl who was dancing with a drink, eating an egg roll. Okay. She puts her number in my phone, leans in, whispers in my ear, "Think it's real?" And I'm like, at this point, I'm just like, what is happening? This girl's insane.
Yeah.
So I look at her, I go, "Let me tell you something." And again, no idea where this confidence came from. Don't have it now.
Yeah.
I said, "I don't need to meet any guy that you've spent any time with in the past 6 months to know that you get along with me better than any of them. So
Wow.
if this is your number,
Yeah.
I think you're not going to regret it. If it's not, you played yourself."
Yeah.
And she looks at me, again, leans in. This again, vodka Red Bulls and egg rolls, whispers in my ear. She goes, "That's why it's real." and then walked away.
Wow.
As if it's like a mic drop moment. When I
Yeah.
repeated this story to her, even 2 days later, when we were
Yeah.
talking, she goes, yeah, so I don't know why I did that. I am so sorry. And I was like, own it.
Yeah.
Own it.
Yeah.
You did the thing.
Yeah.
Your confidence dropped a mic. I was smitten.
I got drunk and took over a ghost tour once, and the guy was not pleased.
That sounds like I think you should leave sketch.
It was. In fact, I saw the sketch, and I'm like, I turned to my wife. I go, I did this before.
Where was it?
It was in Savannah. We were there for a wedding.
I love Savannah.
And I love Savannah. It was the night before the wedding, and they're like, we got to keep these drunk people busy. And so all of us are from the south side of Chicago.
Yeah.
Irish Catholic drunk people.
White Sox fans.
And it's White Sox fans. We work for a living. And I just got drunk, and I was like, this tour is boring. I'm gonna add some color commentary to it. And it was literally like, he took me aside. He's like, sir, I'm just trying to do my job. Some people are interested in this. And I'm like, I don't care. I do not care.
You didn't even pull back.
Oh, no. That's why I don't drink anymore.
Yeah.
Drunk Ken is a very different personality.
You're like,
Drunk Ken is the person I want to be.
I was gonna say, Drunk Ken's the person I want to be.
Yeah.
We went on this ghost tour in Scotland and in Edinburgh, and this woman was just like struggling.
Yeah.
She had a cough or smoker's cough that was just so thick and it was so loud.
Yeah.
That when she would start getting quiet in a story and it would just happen, she'd be like, so, and by the way, nothing ever happened in these places. There were rumors that it might have.
Right.
So she would be like, there's stories that there might have been that a woman may have. And again, we're not, and we just do that, and I would be like, I'm gonna fucking die.
Oh, yeah.
So I started doing bits,
Right.
where I was just like, I would be like, so I just had a quick question, where would you say that might have, if it had, which we don't know,
Right.
occurred? And like, Jess looks at me, she goes, you gotta knock it off. I was like,
Was it Colonel Mustard in the dining room with a candlestick?
that's what it was. Truly, she was like, if you don't knock it off, this woman's gonna kill you.
I'm sorry, but like, if that's your job, like, this is the one thing that you're doing. Like, do it well.
I think the ghosts would have been turning in their graves at this storytelling.
Well, the alleged ghosts.
The alleged ghosts.
Because they may or may not have been. It sounded like a Trump ghost tour. It's like, I'm hearing from other people.
It may or may not have occurred to a degree. It was an absolute nightmare. And the worst part is after we walked away, I was like, well, I mean, like, I guess. And she goes, you can just say it. I was like, that's the worst thing I've ever done in my life. I was like, and I have once had an endoscopy. This is worse by a million miles. We literally just like went into a cave, and she's like, now, if a murder had occurred, here's how it would have happened.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck is happening? This is not a ghost tour. This is a tour of you hypothesizing what could have occurred.
There were probably more ghosts during your endoscopy.
I mean, probably.
Is that how you say it?
Is it not endoscopy? I don't know.
And I just had one of those.
This is such a old man question. Do you have acid reflux?
Of course.
Okay, so
my whole life.
Can you point to anyone who doesn't? I
No.
have not met anyone who doesn't, and yet we don't. Isn't it just normal? Should we just call it like that's normal?
I every time, like, I ordered a pizza the other night, and I'm like, because my wife was out of town. That's the only reason I ordered it.
Where did you order it from? A traditional place, or you order it from like Domino's?
No, I'm in Chicago. We don't. Come on.
Are we talking like Pizzeria Uno, Lou Malnati's,
No,
Giordano's?
that's for tourists.
Pequod's? Okay.
By the way, Pequod's isn't really. Now it is, but
I think Portillo's might do pizza.
no.
I mean, they do hot dogs mainly, but you know.
It was Rosati's. Shout out Rosati's.
I don't know it.
But I ordered it, and I'm like, I ordered it with such confidence, like, they're not going to get me today. Today is the day I'm not going to get the worst heartburn in the world from pizza. Because I ate the Tums. I ate the Tums before the pizza. I set up a baseline in my stomach.
Yeah.
Of like, prepare yourself. There's pizza coming.
Oh my Lord! Did it work?
And there's something about when my wife goes out of town where I'm like, I am a caveman.
Sure.
I'm going to eat out every meal. It's going to be straight garbage.
Correct.
And I feel like I'm getting away with it, even though she could care less what I eat. She's not, and she's never like, "What are you doing? You shouldn't do that." Not once has she ever said that. But as soon as she's out of town, I'm like, "Oh yeah, we're good."
When the
20
cat's
tacos.
away.
Here we go. Yeah.
20 tacos?
Not 20,
I
no.
was gonna say Jesus.
Right?
I wonder, do you ever try and set your sights on like maybe I'm gonna eat right and exercise. Let me get
Absolutely,
addicted
every
to
Monday.
that. Yeah,
Every Monday.
every Monday.
Every
And then
Monday.
by Friday, it's done.
Yeah. Oh no, by Monday afternoon.
No, but oh yeah.
Yeah, no, I have eggs and turkey, bacon for Monday morning, and I'm like, here we go, low carb, Mediterranean, whatever it is that week.
Yep, sure.
And then by like 2:00, and I'm like, I can't do this.
You know, it's so funny. I haven't eaten meat in 11 years, but when I used to eat meat, I would stand by proudly that turkey bacon was better than regular bacon.
Oh, I can't stand you people.
Yeah, we're bad.
Yeah.
But I would proudly say that.
Absolutely.
Now I haven't had it since, but in my head, and now when I say it to people, they go, "Well, you just haven't had bacon." I'm like, I am much older than 11.
Yeah.
So just because I haven't had meat in 11 years doesn't mean I've never had meat. I was like, what? I just thought you could really get like a nice, fun turkey bacon slice.
It's disgusting.
Turkey bacon?
Oh, it's awful.
I loved it.
I love the turkey sausage, the patties,
I
all day, day.
Sausage gave me indigestion all the time.
Of course. I've just assumed that everything gives me indigestion,
That's
and
true.
I just live my life.
That's true. Yeah. I live my life one acid reflux moment at a time.
It's like the Louis C.K. bit where he's like, I know I'm within a 2-day range of diarrhea. Like
yeah.
And 2 days before or 2 days after. Like,
course.
I'm always within 2 days of that. Yeah.
By the way, I realized we should probably get to our first segment. Are you
Okay.
ready for the first segment?
I'm ready for the first segment.
So the first segment is called the Newly Friend Game. It's like the Newlywed Game, but we're friends.
Of course.
What we're gonna do, unless you want to get divorced and remarried, and I'm open to it.
Oh, God.
No good.
No.
Okay, we could fist bump at the courthouse.
Okay.
So I'm open to it. For this question, so you and I have both lived in Chicago and Los Angeles.
Yes.
We've both been in both places. So I'm going to do a question that I feel like we could both probably answer.
Okay.
What do you like better? And I'll give you two options. What do you like better about Chicago than LA, or what do you like better about LA than Chicago? Which one do you want?
Oh. Let's do. What do I like about Chicago more than LA?
Okay. Now, don't tell me your answer. Write it down. So, what do you like more about Chicago than LA? All right. Flip your board on 3. 1, 2, 3. Flip. Oh, I was off on both.
Wow.
I had suggested public transportation. I miss that every
I'm
day.
passionate about public transportation.
I miss it every day in Chicago.
Really?
In Chicago, I would take the L anywhere I needed to go.
Ah,
I knew all
see.
the bus routes. I knew everything.
But this is why we're new friends, because I was born and raised on the south side of Chicago, and
Sure.
we weren't really around public transportation.
Not even
meaning
the Green
L.
Line?
No. We had the red line, but it didn't go that far south.
Yeah,
really,
the red
right?
line would stop
So
at
I
some
didn't
point,
grow up around public transportation. We just carpooled everywhere. In fact, I was out with my buddies from high school a couple nights ago, and I was like, I need $3 for gas, everybody. Like we used to do as teenagers.
Oh, sure.
But yeah, no, now look, I respect the public transit system that Chicago has. I think it's one of the best.
Incredible.
DC has a great one. Rome has a great one. Morocco has a great.
What up, Morocco?
Shout out Morocco. But no, I get it. I absolutely get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
But
you said
I put food.
Wow.
The food is way better in Chicago
Okay.
than LA, and
Okay.
then the sports fans.
Wow.
So not the sports teams, but the fans themselves. Like you have LA wins a championship and they have a parade. There's 14 people there.
Or
And
there are
Chicago,
people that
it's
don't
like-
know a single name of any player on
Oh,
the team.
for sure, without a doubt.
Yeah.
And now in Chicago, when the Blackhawks win or the Cubs win or the White Sox, it's like the city shuts down.
Yup.
4 million people show up.
Oh, sure.
It's a huge deal, and so that's the one thing that I missed a lot is that I'm not a huge I guess I'm a pretty big sports guy, but I miss that where LA is we don't care.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a diehard Knicks fan, and so my city.
I'm so sorry.
It's been terrible. No one understands except maybe Cubs fans.
So wait, you grew up in Minneapolis?
No, I grew up in New York.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
Born and raised New Yorker. I
Oh.
went to school in St. Louis and properly started post-college comedy in Minneapolis.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I'm a New Yorker. So this is kind of a Knicks color
Yeah.
dish. Diehard Knicks fan. So I love Knicks fans
Yeah.
alike because we're all in the trenches together. I feel like for a while, Cubs fans kind of understood us
Yeah.
because we haven't won since '73.
So I grew up during the Jordan era.
Sure.
And so the hatred that I have for the New York Knickerbockers is significant.
It feels weird for
Yeah.
a Bulls fan of the '90s to hate Knicks fans because we were on the losing end of every one of
It
those
wasn't the
matches.
fans; it was the team. It was
Or
that,
that's
that
what I even
Ewing, Patrick Ewing, Charles
Yeah,
Oakley,
the roughhousers.
yeah.
Anthony Mason, sure.
Yeah,
but like,
yeah.
But we lost all those matches. Shouldn't we be mad at you
Absolutely.
and you should be indifferent to us?
Yeah.
because we lost.
You
You still hate the loser.
We still hate the way you lost.
Okay.
Yeah.
Angry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Physical.
Plus, I have. Well, we'll save this for that. We'll save this for the later segment.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah,
We'll say that. All right. So you know what? So we'll do the opposite question for me, even though I love Chicago. We'll do what do I like? We'll do this for me. What do I like more about LA than Chicago? And I'm going to eliminate one right off the bat. Don't say weather. That's
Right. That's yeah.
It's an easy one. I'm not going to say that. All right. Flip your word on 3. 1, 2, 3. Flip. Sushi.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the sushi better here. I love it in New York.
What is Shoops?
So first I said revolves around entertainment. So I love that like this city kind of hinges on entertainment.
Okay.
Because I am someone who's in that field, so I
Yes.
feel like it caters to me.
Yes.
And then secondly, there's an incredible lunch place, kind of like a deli breakfast spot called Shoops in Santa Monica that I regularly talk about as one of my favorite places in the entire world.
Shout out to Shoops.
Shoops, I love you. I
Shout
love
out
every
to
second of you.
There's a Shoops in the Midwest, actually. It's like a diner type place.
This
with
is kind of
famous
dinery.
milkshakes.
Love a milkshake.
Yeah.
You know what my biggest embarrassment is? I'll own it.
Yeah.
I lived in Chicago for 4 years and never had a chocolate cake milkshake from Portillo's.
I don't even know who you are.
I know.
The chocolate cake shake is.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know Jay Washington.
Yeah.
So Jay from Chicago as well, and
I didn't know that.
We were out running open mics one night, and it was his birthday, and I go, "Well, I got to take you out for a chocolate cake shake," and he goes, "I've never had a chocolate cake shake before." So we go through the drive-thru, and I get it, and to see him take his first sip, so they take a piece of chocolate cake and they blend it inside of a milkshake,
It sounds
and you
amazing.
try to suck it through a straw, which is impossible.
Of
so
course.
you end up using a spoon. And the amount of joy on his face, it probably was to this day his best birthday ever. I stand by that.
I do regret that. That was a big mistake that I'll
Yeah.
think about often. But I hit the spots. I mean, like I did all the things that like you have to do. Like I had the Italian beef from 2 different spots. I
Mr.
had
Beef
yeah,
and Portillo's, yeah.
correct. And Al's.
Yeah. Al's Beef, yeah.
Yeah, I had the Chicago dogs. I had all the deep dish.
What's funny, what cracks me up is the things that Chicago are known for, deep dish pizza, and then there's always like, oh, do you get Garrett's popcorn? People from Chicago don't eat Garrett's popcorn.
People from everywhere
That
don't
is a
eat Garrett's
tourist
popcorn.
thing.
I don't even eat Garrett's popcorn ever.
Every time I see it, I go, how is that a thing? I don't understand that.
So someone
Nothing against that place, but
No, this is I'm telling you, this takes your story and adds a little extra level of weirdness. Someone who is coming to visit me. Okay, I was living in Chicago.
yeah.
As a gift, thanking me for letting them stay with me, bought me Garrett's popcorn.
Right.
And I was like, sorry, you bought me something that is what you assume people buy in Chicago for other people that don't live here.
Right.
You bought it for me, even though I live here.
Right.
And I lived maybe 15-minute walk from the Garrett's on Michigan.
Right.
Which I
Could
would
care less.
never go to.
No, never.
It's baffling to me.
Yeah.
No offense, Garrett's. Like so
Also, deep dish pizza, once a year maybe.
So my hot take is I did enjoy deep dish pizza.
I love it, but it's a once a year deal. We're
yeah,
mostly thin crust people. We're a thin
prefer-
crust clan.
I like a skillet. I like a skillet style pizza,
okay.
like the Detroit style. I really like.
Now, are you New York or Chicago pizza?
No, I'm New York. New York all day. New York
I
all day.
don't understand it.
New York all day.
I do not get it.
It will be forever.
Oh, maybe that's my controversial take.
Better not be. The only points that people have tried to make at me pizza wise, which I suppose I'm open to, is that apparently Connecticut has good pizza. I don't know.
No, they don't.
I don't know.
No, they don't.
I've never had their pizza, but people have said that to me, and I'm like, maybe. But I will say, and I'm sorry to say this, there are a lot of places in Los Angeles, not to make this a food podcast, there are a lot of places in Los Angeles that are trying to emulate different things in New York.
Right.
And I'm sorry, and I say this with so much love, they fail. And it's like, there are a lot of great bagel places open now. There are wonderful bagel places open now. They're not New York bagels.
No.
It's just not.
Here's the rule. When I go to Europe or whenever I travel around the world, the rule that I have is I won't go to a restaurant that has an American menu.
No, you
I
shouldn't.
want to go to something off the path that's not touristy, that isn't catered to tourists. I want to get authentic food. That same thing applies. Like, if I see Chicago-style pizza, New York-style pizza, absolutely not.
No.
If you're truly a New York pizza place, you just put it out there. You don't
pizza.
say it.
Just says pizza. It
just
doesn't even
says-
have the name.
yeah,
Just
right.
says pizza.
Right.
I went when we went to Italy this past year. That makes us sound super bougie. When we went to Italy this past year, our big feeling was if a menu is big or has pictures, we will not indulge.
Yes.
We ended up at a place where, and I'm so glad we did. It was amazing. They didn't have an English version of the menu.
Yeah.
So I was using like Google Translate,
Right.
and trying to figure out what was there. I'm going to be candid. I wasn't sure what I was ordering when I ordered.
Okay.
And yet still was delicious. But I will
Absolutely.
say we ordered like a bunch of cheese. I don't know where in the order I did that.
Yeah.
But apparently just like tons.
Now, what I found to be infuriating my first time going to Italy was
Sure.
that Europeans just take their time,
Ugh.
right? And so we're like, hey, we gotta go. So my ex-wife and I went on a cruise,
Yeah.
and we want to visit all these places.
Sure.
And now all of a sudden they're like, no, this lunch is 2 hours long, and we're like, can we, So we're like furious, and we didn't realize how American we were being, and the fact that like Americans are always on the go. Like
Yeah.
we are like, we got to get going,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Italy's just like, we literally like, we work to live, right?
Yeah.
And we're going to take a long siesta. We're going to like enjoy our meal,
Love a nap.
and we just shovel garbage into our bodies and just move on with our day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny when I am...
And we're wrong. I
No.
just want to make that perfectly clear.
Yeah, I want everyone to know. So Ken says move quick and don't take any breaks. That's just what I'm getting from you. When I am doing road stuff, I almost mandate I build naps into my day.
Absolutely.
And I realized maybe a year ago where I was kind of just like, why do I reserve that for when I'm traveling? Why aren't I doing that at home?
Oh, I do that
always
at home
love
too.
it.
Yeah,
Do you nap every day?
for exactly 20 minutes. My wife, my wife cracks up because I look at her and she goes, nap. I go, yep. And I put my head down, sometimes on her hip
Sure.
while we're watching TV.
It's a great
And I
place to
put
be.
my head down, and 20 minutes, almost to the second, I sit up like Eddie Munster, and I'm go, okay.
Sorry.
And she's like, how do you do that?
No alarm.
No alarm?
No one is waking you.
Nothing.
Your body just goes 20 minutes. I'm good
Up.
to go.
Exactly at 20 minutes.
Are you rested?
I am ready to go. It's like a Red Bull. A Red Bull and egg roll.
Yeah, exactly. Vodka, Red Bulls, and egg rolls. You're just riding.
I hope you guys have that at your wedding, by the way.
Oh
You
God!
have to.
Can I say something?
Vodka, Red Bull, and egg roll.
I think vodka Red Bulls are the fucking grossest drink in
that's
the
why
world.
I drank them so fast.
Yeah. That's why people pound them, because it tastes awful.
Yeah.
I watched a video the other day where someone said the reason Red Bull was successful is because they said this drink has impact on you. Like it gives you energy, gives this, gives
Right.
you that. So they wanted it to taste bad, so people would talk about it, but then people would be like, well, it has to taste bad because it's giving me all these things.
Right.
They actively try to make it taste bad.
Yeah.
I'm like, why does anyone drink that?
Oh, yeah.
I once mixed 5 Hour Energy with tequila, and I'll tell you something. It's never something I'll ever do again.
Your body was very confused.
My body literally just like it. I got lost in time. My
Yeah.
body was just like, I felt like people were moving around me in slow motion. It was just not a place I needed to be. I hate to do this. Are you ready to move to the lightning round?
I'm ready.
It's 5 fast questions. They don't at all have to be fast answers. And I use this index card not because I forgot them, because I remember them. This makes me kind of feel like as close as I'm going to get to a late night talk show host.
Love it, yeah.
You know, so that's just kind of
Just for the job you want.
Yeah, well, yeah. I think they dress like this most of the time. Do they?
For sure,
I don't
yeah.
know.
They have moccasins and
Oh my! So I gotta tell you. So I've gotten messages about this on the account before. People are,
are
like,
they Moroccan?
Yeah, they're Moroccans. They're amazing. I get messages from people who are like, why do you wear moccasins? I'm like, do you want me to wear sneakers on the couch? And they're like, why don't you just not put your feet on the couch? I'm like, I'm in here. I'm in this mix for an hour.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
So I do it.
I sat like this during an interview once for Playboy.com, and the comments were
Brag.
like, sit like a man.
Oh. You're just like
I'm on Playboy. Like,
yeah,
what,
yeah.
what-
You know me. I'm just a
what
sissy boy.
more do I have
Yeah,
to prove
yeah.
here?
Question 1, what is a favorite ritual of yours? So, for example, I like brewing tea every morning.
The favorite ritual of mine is my 20-minute power nap. I hate to
Okay.
like bring up something we already talked about.
I love it.
So, a quick story. I was in corporate sales prior to becoming a full-time professional comedian.
I don't think I knew that.
I was the director. I was a managing director at NASDAQ, the stock market,
Holy crap.
and I made a ton of money.
Yeah.
And I got fired on purpose. And I calculated I've been a professional comedian for 10 years, and my naps have cost me nearly $3 million in earnings. and worth every penny. I swear to God,
That would
I
give
don't
me-
regret any decision I've ever made.
Why did you do that to yourself by calculating it?
Because I just was like, how much money have I lost in earnings? And I did the inflation. I did everything. What I would have made for the last 10 years had I stayed in that position and made something similar. And I go, boy, these naps are worth it. So my ritual is right around between 4 and 5 o'clock.
That's a great time.
I put my head down for 20 minutes and I do the old pop up. And my wife's like, all right, here we go.
Even when she's not there, you still pop up in 20.
Yeah. Yeah,
Unbelievable.
that was the big thing. I took the train every day. I worked 60 hours a week. I was grinding. I was making all this money, and I had bills on auto pay, and I could care less about any of that anymore.
I would love to make that money without the hours.
Yeah, you don't. That's
yeah, no.
why you get paid that.
Yeah. Okay. I'm on the fence on whether or not I want to move forward in that realm. But no. Question 2.
Yep.
What is a running bit you have with a friend or partner that makes you laugh?
My best friend and I have been best friends since we were 2.
I've been jealous ever since.
And there's a picture of my 3rd birthday party, and he's next to me in it.
Unbelievable.
And we have developed our own language where it's really just fast speak.
Okay.
But we know each other's personalities and sense of humor so much that I can say something and nobody else will understand what I'm saying, and he knows exactly what I'm saying. Now, a comparable thing might be a hashtag now, right?
Sure.
So like, hashtag first to finish, I'll be like, and so he'll know what I'm saying, but nobody else understands it. So that's the thing that we
I
have.
love that. I have a buddy, and we essentially for a long time got put on essentially like the disabled list, the do not play list for Taboo, because the way that we would play Taboo together, like he would be like, it was the time that Jen forgot what
Right.
Garfield ate, and she thought
love
he
that.
ate. I was like lemon meringue pie, and he's like,
I
yes.
love that. Yeah.
And people would be like, what the fuck
Right.
is going on?
Right.
He'd be like, we drove back from a concert, and we said it was like, I was like, a snow globe. He goes,
Right.
perfect. And I was
Yeah.
like, yeah. And people are like, you can't do this.
You can
It's
just be
cheating.
like, Todd. And he's like, crackheads.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. They're like, you can't do this. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. This
Right.
is how we play the game.
Yeah, but I love that little language that he and I have, and sometimes it's just a look, you know what I mean? But like we're always on the same page, and I think that's what makes our friendship so great.
Oh, you have to have that.
Yeah.
Question 3, and I kind of give you a heads up on this one.
Yeah.
What is a very controversial opinion that you have?
A very controversial opinion that I have, and I apologize in advance.
Don't.
Knowing now, I hate New York
As a city or a
as
state?
a city.
As a city.
As
You hate
a
New York City. Okay.
I hate New York City.
Uh-huh.
I've only been there once.
Sure.
It was right before my divorce. We went there as a way to fix the marriage kind of weekend.
Okay. Could that have colored your feelings at all?
Without a doubt.
Okay.
And that's why I kind of share that tidbit of information. The garbage, the attitude. When I meet people from New York, yourself not included. But
Yeah, I was gonna say,
when you meet the kind of typical like Long Island, Bronx, like
Sure.
Show up in the Derek Jeter jersey. I have such contempt for that place. I've never performed stand up there.
What?
I kind of not even feel like a real stand up sometimes because I haven't, but I just don't like it. Now, what I would love to do is go to New York with a native New Yorker and
Sure.
experience the city as it should be experienced.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, for me, I think because of the circumstances with which I was there, I did not like it.
And as a Bulls fan, that probably didn't help you like New York.
I think it was like part of the DNA of like New York is bad, Patrick Ewing mean, that kind of thing.
Yeah, even though he was trying his best.
See, I think he's a great guy, probably.
Yeah, I mean, probably.
Yeah.
I will tell you, I met and rest in peace, Anthony Mason. I met him, and he was on my childhood team, and I went up and I went to go up to him.
Yeah.
And there's a gentleman standing near him, and he goes, "What are you doing?"
Mm.
And I was like, I just want to see if I could potentially take a picture with Anthony.
Yeah.
And he goes, he doesn't take pictures with dudes.
Oh.
And I was like, no, sure. I happen to be wearing an Allen Houston jersey, which was his teammate. I love the 90s Knicks. I would just love to. He goes, he doesn't take pictures with dudes.
Okay.
And I'm like, sure. Okay. I'm gonna back out of this one.
Yeah.
And then he
Heartbroken.
And then, yeah. But then, Mason looks at this dude and he goes,
oh,
and I'm like, huh? So I went. I thought he'd do that thing where maybe puts his hand on my shoulder or something. He would not touch me.
Right.
No, we took a picture together. It's on my Instagram.
Standing next to each other.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe he was touching my shoulder. I don't think he was, but I can tell you, he was dramatically displeased with the experience.
My hero growing up was Carlton Fisk of the Chicago White Sox.
I didn't even know who that was. Okay, I'm not a big
baseball
baseball
guy. He was formerly
guy.
of the Boston Red Sox, and then he got traded. It was a famous trade to the Chicago White Sox, or maybe it was free agency, but I think it was a trade. And famously not approachable.
Oh.
And I've never met him. But I kind of it was one of those this is my hero, and I'm like, I don't want to meet my hero. You know what I mean? I don't.
I think we're gonna say the Big Hurt was one of your guys, but
Absolutely. But I've actually met. I ran into him in Vegas, and he was super nice.
Oh shit.
Yeah. He was at a blackjack table.
And you just walked up. You're like, "Yo, what's good?"
Yeah, I'm from the South
Mr.
Side.
Thomas or whatever. I don't know what you call
when you're
him.
from the South Side, it's
He'll
pay your
vibe.
salary.
I hope you said that. I fucking hope that you said that. He would have been like, "All right,
Yeah.
sure,
Cool. Yeah. Thanks.
thanks, bud."
Have some testosterone. That's what he plugs in.
I will say what we're going to do is I'm going to find the New York side of TikTok, and I'm just going to launch this clip as just far and wide as I can.
Please do. I've done this. I've said this before on podcasts and on
Does it
radio
go viral?
shows, and it hasn't yet, but come at me, New York.
come
Please,
at him.
come on. Come get some, bro.
Ken Garr was taken.
Yeah.
Find him. Question 4: have you ever experienced imposter syndrome? And if so, is there one moment that really sticks with you?
My whole life has been imposter syndrome.
I wasn't going to say anything, but we've all been wondering how you got this far.
I am currently a resident comedian with Cirque du Soleil.
What the fuck does that mean?
Yeah, so I am.
You
I am
bounce
one
on the
of-
balls and you jump and do.
No, I do stand up. They have a variety show called Mad Apple, and they have singing and dancing and acrobats and stand up. And I recently was hired to do stand up at one of the shows in the Las Vegas Strip. And I don't want to say it's imposter syndrome, but it's one of those things where you're just like, I am in awe of the level of talent that is surrounding me.
Yeah.
These world-class athletes, and then they're like, "Hey, let's put the pudgy guy through the stage." Let's
Yeah.
let's throw him
People are
up on a
doing
forklift.
trapeze work, and you're like, so you ever seen yourself naked?
Yeah.
And you go, look at those nips.
Yeah.
And they're like, this guy is excellent.
Which is ironic because it's a New York-based show.
Yeah.
So. So now I'm probably gonna get kicked off. But the grand finale is called the Wheel of Death, where these two men that are 5th generation circus people do backflips off of a swinging hamster wheel, 50 feet in the air, and they're like,
No.
yeah. And so I'm just like, what am I doing here? But it's an absolute treat. I will be there April 26th through May 5th in Las Vegas at Mad Apple. Please come out to the show. If you're from New York and you want to talk shit, come see me.
Also, if you want to give me a free hotel room and tickets, I'll come.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you
You've
can
got
get
it.
that done, right?
You will sleep in the bed next to mine.
Oh, good.
So technically, I am giving you a hotel.
That is sort of true. Question 5, final question.
Yeah.
It's typically, what is your favorite tea? But if you don't want to answer that because you're not a big tea drinker, you could also say, what's your favorite comfort?
God, this is so cheesy, and I hate to end the podcast like this. But being
with
home,
my wife. Oh, okay.
I mean, I'm gonna, being home. Shout out wife. No, but shout out Morocco. Shout out wife.
Yep.
Shout out Shoops.
Hashtag wife. Hashtag shoops. Hashtag Morocco. Yep.
But no, as comics, I travel. about 40 weeks a year.
Jesus.
And I've performed in Dubai and Europe and South America. I went to 8 countries last year. I've been to 6 this year. And when I get home, it's like that is my center. That's my serenity.
Yeah.
I have my wife, who's my best friend, and my dogs, and we've got our bearded dragon named Fred Savage. We've got our
Classic.
we've got Fat Lou. I mean, it's just
Fat Lou?
I'm drawing a blank. A guinea pig. I was gonna say, yeah.
You have a bearded dragon, a guinea pig, and 2 dogs?
Yeah, and they're more famous on Instagram than I am by a wide margin.
Yeah, no, I'm sure me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, not doing much to help myself. I should get a bearded dragon.
We got a DM. I'll tell this story real quick. We got a DM, and they said they were from Instagram.
Yep.
And we want to post a picture of your dog with the guinea pigs. And we're like, yeah, do whatever they weren't asking for any information. We didn't have to send them anything. They just wanted permission. Turns out it was Instagram. And they posted a picture of our dog on Instagram's page that has 300 million followers. We went to take a 20-minute nap, as I do.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Woke up, we had 25,000 followers. They had 25,000 followers.
The dog?
In 20 minutes, yeah. The dog and the guinea pigs.
Dear God.
And we just signed a deal with Dolly Parton's brand, Doggy Parton.
Incredible name. Like, I can't even.
And I go, how much are they paying us? She's like, we're not making any money. I go, what? I go, this is what I do for a living. Let me do,
I mean, still, what a Doggy Parton?
Yeah.
Oh, sponsored.
I know. And then she's like, I want you to handle their social media. I go, I will use it for evil.
Yeah.
I will just poke. Here's another stand-up clip from Dad. Like, yeah.
Yeah. I'd be like, hey, if you look really closely, you can see the dog. Anyway, here I am at the Comedy and Magic Club.
Yeah. I'll bring my lizard.
Oh, my God. Unbelievable. Well, that's the pod, man. How do you feel?
I feel great.
This
tea was amazing.
Stop. But keep going. I like the compliments. And for everyone in New York, I stood up for us. I want you to know. That was Ken Garr. You can find him at Ken Garr Was Taken on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. This episode was produced by Ali Betker. It was edited by Martin Alvarez. Our theme song and additional music are by Oliver Hymack. Our cover art was done by Neil Fraser with photography by Matt Mazisco. Social media by Dia Villegas. Please write a review and rate our podcast on Apple Podcasts and wherever else you can. You can send any questions, comments, newly friend game suggestions, or tea suggestions to steepcombos@gmail.com or tweet us at steepcombos. I'm Josh Lanzet, and you can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at Josh Lanzet. We'll be back next week, so until then, happy steeping. I don't know how you feel about people engaging in physical activity next to you, but, I mean...
Listen, if you just cut back on your sushi, you can afford to maybe go to Vegas for a weekend.
I can't. All you can eat sushi just rips through your insides and your wallet.